Good morning and welcome to the first edition of Coffee and Talmud. We're going to start studying the laws of Brachot, or blessings. We'll be using the book of the same name by Rabbi Benjamin Forst with Rabbi Aaron Twersky. This sefer will help us understand better the reasons behind and how to properly say the blessings, where we thank God before and after we eat and before many joyous and happy occasions for His blessings. Let's begin. Contrary to popular belief, Brachot encompasses a far broader spectrum than the mere knowledge of the proper blessing to be recited on each food. These are diverse and among the most complex and difficult topics found in the Shulchan Aruch, or prepared table. To cite but a few common questions, what does one do when in doubt whether or not to say the blessing pertaining to Torah study, and if it were already recited? May a man recite Havdalah for a woman after she has fulfilled his own obligation? Does one who wishes to eat grape and blueberry recite the blessing on grape or on the blueberry? And what about if he desires the blueberry more than the grape? If one recited a blessing on a cup of coffee which subsequently fell to the ground before he could drink from it, may the same blessing cover the refill? These are merely a few of the countless circumstances that arise frequently and unexpectedly. Knowledge of the laws of blessing enables one to correctly react to these situations with clarity and confidence. Oftentimes, when faced with a question like this, we tend to look it up. If we're not able to look it up, we improvise, we guess, and occasionally we guess incorrectly. The impropriety of this behavior is self-evident. The Torah expects us to be well acquainted with common problems so that we may correctly address them when they occur. Oftentimes, these halakhic problems can be deferred until an authority can be consulted, but not so on blessings, because usually these necessitate an immediate response. One cannot postpone a decision until an authority is available, and it's for this reason that we need to be familiar with these blessings. Eating without the proper blessing can be a serious transgression, and it is therefore of the utmost importance that one have a firm knowledge of these rules and regulations. Often our relationship to the halakha is defensive in the sense that we wait to be confronted by a problem, and only then do we search for a proper solution. Obviously, this is flawed. Not only is it difficult to find the place in the source material, it may also be difficult to understand and apply. The book we are embarking on follows in the footsteps of the practical halakhic works with significant modification. Most of these rulings have been gleaned from widely accepted authoritative works and halakhic responsa. "100 times a day." Introduction. For many of us, our earliest memories include those of our parents teaching us to make and telling us to make a bracha. Mitzvot that are inculcated from infancy are deeply rooted in our psyche. However, they are often taken for granted and rarely re-examined as we mature both spiritually and emotionally. One rabbi was fond of the following metaphor. He told of the child whose parents bought him a talis katan, the prayer shawl, at the age of 3. This is the one that goes inside the clothing and allows us to fulfill the mitzvah of wearing fringes on our four-cornered garments. The small talus looked adorable on the tiny tot. It fit him well. At the age of 4, the small talus katan was no longer a perfect fit, but he could still wear it without great discomfort. If the child were to don the same talus katan at the age of 10 or at bar mitzvah, he would rightfully be the subject of derision and scorn. For a mature adult to continue to wear the original garment would be unthinkable. The rabbi notes that our relationship to Torah and our performance of the mitzvot require constant reevaluation. They should reflect intellectual and spiritual growth. If we do not subject our appreciation of the mitzvot to searching analysis, we remain very much like the adult who continues to wear his first talus katan. So what is a bracha? We will shortly examine the various goals that are fostered by the observance of the Berachot. It is helpful to first identify the various settings in which the Berachot are recited. Reflect upon the Berachot that you recite on a typical day, and you will discover that they fall into 3 distinct categories. The first and most easily recognized is the blessings that are recited before and after drinking and eating. The second readily recognizable category is the blessings that are made on our ceremonial and ritual items, such as on tefillin, tzitzit, and on the sukkah. The third category is less commonly recognized, although it includes some of the most commonly recited blessings. These are the blessings of thanksgiving and praise on such things as the Amidah. The text and structure of the blessings differ among the different categories. The similarities, however, far outnumber the differences. To facilitate discussion, let us focus on the most commonly recited blessings, which is recited before eating a wide variety of foods. The text in English is, "Blessed are you, Adonai our God, King of the universe, that all things were created by his word." The questions abound. Can Baruch be translated as blessed? How can we bless God? Of what significance is the blessing of mortal man to an infinite and omnipotent God? If Baruch is translated praised, we are faced with the same question. Certainly God does not need man's praise as a necessary predicate to eating or performing a mitzvah. It might be man's role to give thanks to God for his graciousness, but the classic formulation, "Blessed art thou," the blessed does not connote thanksgiving with the classical use of Hebrew language, and in any event cannot be placed together with atah. Very simply, it makes no sense to say, "Thanks are you." One might, of course, say, "We give thanks to you," but that would require a totally different word usage. Finally, each blessing reverses tenses in midstream. The first part of every blessing is phrased in the second person, "Blessed are you." In the second portion of the blessing, we address God directly. The close of the blessing is always in the third person, i.e., we're created by his word. The direct relationship with God expressed in the first portion of the blessing disappears and is replaced with a more distant and elusive relationship. Next time, we will start with gratitude.